Welcome back to our 2K23 Wishlist Series Part 3. Now, while this might be a thing that most people don't care about, what if I could get you to care about it? What if we could make some changes that would make you care about MyFaction? Oh, you didn't know? Well, we're going to find out right now. So, looking over all the stuff that we've gone over so far, we've talked about the promos, we talked about the interviews, the GM's office, a way to where we can choose the locations of where those things are going to happen, whether it's in the ring or backstage, faction creation, tag team creation, what that all means, taking and adding in the storylines for all of it. And now what we're going to start looking at is how do we make MyFaction mode better? How do we bring in people to actually want to play MyFaction mode? Because it's not going to go away. So let's look and see what the issues are first so we can see what do we have to do to fix them. So obviously we know 2K is not going to go away from their card system. If you look at Madden football, you look at the soccer, you look at the basketball, you look at all the things, all the sports games, all the different stuff like that, there's a card system, and that is their way to generate extra revenue. That's like their series, or their seasons, or their whatever they want to call them. We know we don't have a live service model. Is there something we can do? They've already said that there's not going to be one, but is there something we can do that where maybe we could have something that almost acts as such? And we know there's no call to action right now for MyFaction. There's no thing that is, there's no particular reason like we have got to go and play MyFaction. There's nothing saying I need to play MyFaction. And of course, the last obvious one, we want additional cost slots. Now, Ka is, if you've never been around here, is create a wrestler, but we want extra slots. There's 100 right now. Is there a better way that we may be able to do that? Now, the first thing that we're going to want to tackle is making the MyFaction content unlockable. This isn't my idea alone. You know, a lot of us across the community have been saying this. But what does it mean? We could take the new player models. If there's a new model to Triple H as an example, make it unlockable to where now we unlocked it in MyFaction. It's now, we can use it across all the game modes. We can use all the attires and all that stuff that we unlock, whether it be entrances, victory motions, arenas, title belts. It's unlocked across the entire game, and those things are also added to Creation Suite. So what does this do? Where we said we didn't exactly have a live service model before, now we do. This is stuff that the game is already doing. They're just doing it through cards. Instead of making it card-based, make it to where you do this set of things, this is what happens, you unlock all this stuff. Now, the flip side of that is let's not make this super grindy. That's probably not why people are doing it in the first place. Let's not make it super grindy. Let's find a better way than just grindy, and maybe that way, and this is just one idea, is a point system. You go into MyFaction, they've already got something similar to this. You go into MyFaction, you complete tasks. For those tasks, you earn points. Those points, they could go to unlock either the cards, the victory motions, the entrances, the title belts, the new character models, or the attires. I don't mean like, oh, you got to spend 100,000 points to unlock one shirt and 2 billion points to unlock this. No, do not make this part of it grindy. Make earning the cards a little grindy. That's going to be, you got to have a grind somewhere. But don't make it super grindy for this part. The whole purpose and the whole point of this is now you've created a call to action. Now you've created something where players are going to want to come in because they want to unlock the thing. You make it too hard, the players won't do it. So again, I can't stress this enough, not trying to make it super grindy, but what you will do is introduce new players into MyFaction. So that's huge. Don't make it super grindy. Do that for the cards. Make it so there's an online mode with challenges that you can complete with your friends. And then kind of the bigger idea, and I don't mean to breeze over this, but make an online faction to where your friends can join you. Like, I created a faction, now my friends can join me in that faction. As a faction, we have our own goals, we have our own things. We have events that we can participate in, and we can unlock more points. By doing this, it would make it even faster to gain more points. It would make it even better to where we can unlock that content. And maybe what you end up doing is getting people on the side of MyFaction. Now, people are playing MyFaction, they're like, actually, I kind of like the game. It's something I can kind of chill out, do with my buddies, and it's kind of fun. So think about that. So when we look at why we would be making these changes, there is no live service in the game. We have said this. But here's the thing. 2K is already doing the work. All they would have to do is unlock that same work. Just unlock it, call to action to MyFaction, unlock it across the thing. Then you basically have a live service update almost. It's not the same, but it is very close. Additionally, we want extra cost slots, right? But if this change was made, you may not have to add additional cost slots. For every wrestler added to the game, they should have 2 attire slots. Only one of them should be filled. So the game has one of them. They fill one of those slots, but there's that extra slot. So now you could go in, you could change the attire of the slot, and that slot would not take up a cost slot. You could download something from online one time to that one model, and it wouldn't take up that cost slot. We will get into what that looks like a little bit more later. But if you didn't have the time to grind all of that, and I don't mean like a season pass, like a DLC season pass, but what you could add is a MyFaction season pass. Something where you could buy that so when all the attires come out or all the whatever, this wouldn't be for the cards. This would only be for the unlockable content across the board. So any of the entrances, the ring attires, the the new player models, that stuff would be unlockable through a MyFaction season pass. If you wanted the DLCs, and we will get into DLCs much later, there'd be a season pass for that. But look, these are ways, you've got to leave ways for the games to make money, or they're not going to take any of these ideas. So this is a way for us to get what we want, and for the game to still make money. Now, I'm sure you thought I breezed over it, so to make this easier to understand, here's an example. And we're only going to use one wrestler. Let's say there's, with the game, the normal Triple H. He's got one preset attire on him. He's got one open attire slot. A slot that would not count against the created wrestler slot like it does now. In the game, you got a manager, Triple H. He has one preset attire. Now, he's only going to be a manager. We'll get into that in other videos. But only going to be a manager. Now, they come out with a different thing. It's WrestleMania time, and so MyFaction comes out and releases a WrestleMania Triple H and a DX Triple H. Later on, they release a 2001 Triple H. All of those would come with their one preset attire and one open slot. You would have to unlock those through there, but once you unlock that actually gives you now 5 additional attire slots on wrestlers that are already in the game. Now, how good would that be? And thinking about that now, how many additional creative wrestler slots would we need if it was like that? I'm guessing none. I've got an idea later on when we talk more about the managers, but imagine that. Just imagine that for a second. That would be phenomenal. So look, at the end of the day, most of these systems are already in place. The 2K team is already doing this. They're already including new attires. They're already including new models through the MyFaction packs. This solves the more cost slots issue, and it makes way more sense. This is already done for cause as it is. Why isn't it done for the regular wrestlers? Give them one attire. Allow us to create one attire. Because look, at the end of the day, we would be able to update our own wrestlers only with stuff that is already in the game. And then adding in a second season pass for MyFaction gives us what we want, stays true to the purpose of the mode, which is to make money at the end of the day, and allows us to keep the game up to date all year round. While they say there wouldn't be a live service model, this is a way for us to have it. So guys, look, really appreciate all the support and all the watches that we've been getting on this series. It means a lot to me. I hope somebody in the community can take some of these ideas, maybe take it farther, a bigger creator than myself. I don't care how the ideas get up there. I think as a wrestling community, we just want the ideas up there. So the next thing that we're going to be covering is the creation suites. Now, we have talked about some of the stuff and put a few little things that have to do with creation suites in some of these other videos, in these first 3 videos. But in the next video, that is going to be our focus. So guys, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Remember, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, turn on the bell notification so you don't miss any time we go live, ring that bell, ding, ding, ding. And throughout the entire month, all of those features are free. Take advantage of the incredible savings, and we will see all of you in the next one.